Zach, who should be careful before considering massage? As a nurse, I'd say anyone with clotting disorder should consult a physician first. Curious to know if you've ever turned anyone away and why. Yeah, that's a great question.
There are some people who need to be careful of massage. Clotting disorders would probably be one of them. Also like a blood thinning disorder. So I've turned some people away. It can be bad for them to get into the tissue, especially to like use a scraping tool and bring a lot of blood to the surface. It can cause that blood to clot, or it can cause them to bleed a little bit too much on their superficial tissue, and that can actually cause damage to them. I don't have too many people that I have to turn away. Like being intoxicated is a contraindication, but there's things like if you're on opioids and stuff, sometimes they say to be careful because it can increase the effect. So say if you're on an Oxycontin for pain and you come in and I work on you, it opens all the blood vessels, so that's going to increase the effect of whatever medication you're taking. So you do have to be sometimes cautious of when you take your medication. If you do come in, regardless if it's an opioid or an antidepressant, it could be anxiety, whatever it might be, you would have to be careful, or maybe consult with your doctor if you're unsure, if the label's not very clear and cut.
Yeah, I would have never thought of that, but it makes so much sense. Yeah, you're opening up the blood, because that's one of the ways it's helping with muscle recovery, which is then going to help with you building muscle or just losing weight because you can work out. It gets blood into the area. It's all about the blood flow. If you lift weights and you get that pump, interesting.
Yep.
Okay.
And that's why they say you can't drink alcohol and get a massage, because you'll get way drunk, and you don't mean to.
Actually, I thought you were joking.
It increases the blood flow. No. I've had to turn a lady away because she came in smelling alcohol, and I was like, I don't mean to be rude, but have you drank any? She's like, oh, I had like 3 margaritas. Why? And I was like, wow, I'm gonna get like 3 times drunker with all that blood flow. So I had to turn one person away because of that. She's one of the 2 people. So you can't come in drunk to the massage place. You just can't do it.
Massage and drink sounds like an awesome night, though. Yeah.
It does. They go together.
So Angelique says, hello, I would like to start jogging this summer and my toes really burn. Any creams or routine a runner should start to incorporate on a daily basis?
Yeah, interesting. The toes are starting to burn. So it could be coming from actually the hip sometimes, which some people don't always look at. Okay. All your nerves kind of come from your low back, obviously down into the leg. Jogging, or if you start doing things like the motion of jogging or whatever it might be, if you're getting pain into the foot and it's burning, it could be like there's a pinched nerve on that end going down to the toes. It could be that there's something in the ankle joint causing the discomfort that's kind of maybe pinching a nerve and causing it to burn. I would recommend trying to take maybe like an elastic band, like one of those stretchy workout bands, where you can put it around your foot and think about drawing the ABCs, like a big A and a little A and a big B and a little B. And you kind of do that in the morning and at night to strengthen all those little muscles in the feet. And then what you can do is find a good spray. I actually have some. It's called Tidal. There you go.
Yeah.
It's like a biofreeze kind of spray. It gets real hot, but it also has cryotherapy in it. So it's going to get really cool, and it's going to get hot, and it gets cool, and it gets hot. So it's able to do kind of a cold-hot contrast, essentially. So that can kind of help as well with like irritation and some of the issues that you're having. Maybe strengthening the foot as well might begin to help. But it could be an issue that starts in the hip. But that's something that you have to get somebody probably in your local area to poke and dig around that to try to see if that's something that you could get sorted out.
So the name of that product, I was going to bring up a link, was Tidal?
Yeah. Tidal, Tidl.
In her case, Angelique's case, and in many other people's case, and I used to do this, they live with the pain or the discomfort. So for example, she jogs at her, she'll be like, okay, either she'll stop jogging, or the person, I should say, not Angelique personally, they'll just give up on jogging, or they will jog through the pain. But I always tell them, don't do this. Try to find somebody like yourself, right? I give them the same kind of advice. Olympic certified nutritionist told me this once, and I've read it in magazines. Always try to find a medical professional that works on professional athletes. And if you can't find that, find something that work on semi-pro or weekend warrior tasks, because they tend to be more cutting edge and they can do what you just did. Like the typical doctor can't, he's not going to give the answer you just gave for toes burning. I'm 99% sure.
Right. You might just rub on your toe.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's not an exaggeration.
and it would kind of feel good, but it wouldn't necessarily fix the issue. So you have to kind of check up the line, see where the issue is actually stemming from. Because that's most likely like an in pain is what I tell people. Your pain's always where it falls, but there's something along the chain that's messed up, and that's an area that you're going to need to work as well. So she feels it in her toe, but it might be her glute, side like her shin muscle. It's hard to tell exactly, but it's got to stem from somewhere, and then that nerve pain is kind of the in pain.
Yeah, because a lot of times people are addressing the symptoms, not the root cause of the problem, basically.
Exactly. There's There's actually a guy named Gil Headley. He did a lot of work on fascia, because that's actually what it is. He called it the fuzz, is what he called it. The tissue overnight, the fuzz builds up. So let's say I have a shoulder issue, I go to sleep for 5 nights and I don't stretch my shoulder out, all that fuzz just keeps building up. And so he found out that when that fuzz obviously gets stuck, over time you're going to lose range of motion. So really we need to do is just enter the ranges of motion, but we just don't ever hit them a lot of times. And so Gil Headley really founded that and kind of realized that this was a big issue. And he's a real skinny guy, but he's real loose and agile. But that's what he does every morning, is he just moves everything in and out, different planes, different movements, and that gets everything kind of loosened up for him. So, but he was really the guy that kind of made me start thinking in that aspect of things.
When do you need more aggressive techniques like Graston technique? And most people probably don't know what that is, so you'll have to describe that.
Brought my bag in, that way I could at least show
nice.
They could visualize. This is my newer one. It's got kind of a handle, and for example, I could take my arm and kind of scrape it essentially, and that would kind of bring blood flow to the area. But the time I would really use something like this, say if there's you've had a sprain in your hamstring and it's been lingering for a long time, all that tissue around's clamped down around the muscle because of the injury. But sometimes you can use this tool and kind of scrape up and down that muscle belly. That's going to break up that thicker tissue, and that's going to kind of decompress again that muscle area. That's going to bring blood flow. It's going to break down the connective tissue. Kind of if there's any scar tissue or adhesion, you can use Graston over like scars. If you had shoulder surgery and there's a big nasty scar, use that Graston tool over top, and that breaks it down. Because I can push with my thumbs all day onto those spots, but if they're too hard, my thumbs are also pliable. I'm just going to irritate you over time. They are able to get the job done a little bit easier than if I was just doing nonsense work. So it's really the tools used to assist me a little bit easier and actually be easier for you. Technically, it's not fun in the time, but it's better for you in the long run.
It's very painful. I mean, they look like torture, like surgical devices, like torture devices. And
no, God, please, no.
There's all kinds of crazy medieval looking things.
So to give people context, as he said, you would rub it in the area, whether it's a forearm, legs, and some parts of your body are just very sensitive, like maybe some quad area, and it can be extremely painful, but you definitely feel a lot better afterwards.
Yeah, no pain, no gain is what I was always told. Yeah.
That is so true. That's so true. And another probably exotic one is cupping. I mean, that's becoming more popular now, but it's still, when I've had it, then I could see I go to the beach, people looking at me funny. Like I jokingly tell people, I was attacked by an octopus or something.
Yeah. It's always a good story.
Right.
Makes for a good conversation in the gym.
Exactly. When would you need something like cupping, for example?
So you can use cupping for many reasons. So you can use it for before you work out. You could use it for even while you work out, and you can use it for like while you recover. And different scenarios, I would say, like, say I really want to get a good bench, but my chest is feeling tight. I could put some cups on my chest. I could go through the motions of some bench, which is going to help open that range of motion. Take the cups off and go do the bench, and maybe I'll be able to get a little bit more weight and feel a little bit more comfortable because I don't feel as tight in the chest. So I could use it kind of pre or before. Michael Phelps a lot of times used it for performance. So what he would do is he'd get cupped right before he would go out, and you'd see, and his skin would be real dark, it'd be real black circles. And he gets finished, they're kind of a purple or like a raspberry red almost. As he's swimming, his body's actually able to use that blood that's sitting on the surface, and he's able to use that again into his muscle, into his tissue. So he's kind of using his own blood to continuously give back to the areas he's using the most, which is why the cups are in highlighted areas that he's going to use to swim.
Right.
And then the same thing, I could use it when I was finished. If I was tired and wore out, you can put cups on the area, move that area around. That's going to bring blood flow, which your body's then going to use to help restore your body and then recover a little bit more rapidly.
We didn't coordinate this, but as you said, Michael Phelps, he was here
he's
with a picture.
I
know exactly. You guys can probably see the marks here, I'm assuming, on the screen. And these are what they look like. They're, as it says, cups, basically suction onto the skin. And you gave an example of the chest. So let's say you have deep tissue, the myofascial, and then cupping. When would you, or sometimes you just use them kind of together, I guess sometimes?
Let's say like for a UFC fighter is a better example. If I was to work on like the back of a UFC fighter, I would promote to get his chest opened up so that way he's kind of in a good spot. His shoulders, his deltoids, his traps in his back, and kind of loosening up all the fighting muscles essentially.
Okay.
And then what I usually would do is then add cupping onto it and hit all the highlighted areas, all the muscles that are involved when throwing a punch. Then I would have him shadow box while he would do that. And that's going to bring blood flow to the areas where he's using his muscles the most. That's going to allow for his body to kind of use it like a soil to a plant, essentially. As it's there, it's going to soak it up as it needs to. So it's going to slowly absorb all the blood that's at the top of the skin into the areas that he's most using. So then he's able to recover and feel better by using it in that sense. So I'll use them coinciding together a lot of times, just to get better performance outtake for the athlete.
Okay, so this is what I would call advanced cupping in a sense, because the typical cupping is people just put it in the areas, leave it, or maybe they move it, but it's very specific to that person for a particular task they're trying to accomplish, essentially is what you're describing.
Yeah, so you had a guy today with a pec issue on one side and a lower back on the right, and I put cups in those different areas, and he was doing all kinds of twisting and different things, and so it wasn't like, they were just in one area. It was in his problem areas and compensation areas, and those areas were the ones that he needed released to get feeling better.
Gotcha. Nice. All right, guys, that is what it's like when you're talking to a professional. This gentleman is working on people who make millions of dollars a year. If this person is trusted to touch those people, he's definitely should be trusted to touch you, right? So I can't emphasize enough, do not go the cheap route with this stuff. And then secondly, you should try this. Even if you don't feel something wrong, I would be shocked if you have somebody like this work on you for an hour. Afterwards, you don't feel amazing. I've never run into anybody who said, you know what, that wasn't worth the money. Not even one time. They can literally turn the clock back in time. For those of you like myself over the age of 40, or even if you're in your 30s, these people are miracle workers. They can do some amazing things, just amazing things. Cannot emphasize this enough. This can literally help you gain muscle, right? And weight loss. Or if you hurt yourself, they can have you train around the injury without it getting worse. I did that when I was going from fat to fit. I hurt myself, right? And I had somebody like that working on me so I could keep. He said it to me, we can treat you two ways. One, like an athlete that's off season, we just shut you down, or I can treat you like an in-season athlete and work on you while you keep transforming. It will take longer and it will be more painful, but you'll be able to work out. So I went with that option, right? I didn't want to lose my momentum. So I kept doing that and it worked brilliantly. Again, as he gave the example with your chest, if you can stretch the muscles more to flex, right? You're going to build more, right? And this works for women as well. It's not just a guy thing. If you're not activating everything, then you're not maximizing all that blood, sweat, and tears in the gym, right? You're just not. Unless you've been doing this stuff regularly, having your body work done, you'll probably have years of stuff building up. And that's why it felt so great that first time I had a really great massage, because it was years of gunk building up, all this stiffness and everything just got released, right? So I am so sure that if you guys utilize somebody like Zach, if you're in that area, highly recommend you go there. I'd be shocked if you didn't think he was worth every penny. You can't put a price on your physical comfort, not being in pain, performing well in the gym, probably help you in bed, just saying. Yeah, I think it was a great show. Hope you guys liked it. Again, I learned a lot. And thanks for showing up. Love the comments. Great questions. Have a great night, guys. Later's my massive. Mega long now. Because you are determined to transform your body, you made it to the end of this video. To get more tips about how to look great and feel even better, check out one of these videos you see on the screen. I'm sure you'll enjoy them. So later's my massive. Mega long now. For those who don't speak Jamaican patois, that's goodbye, my people.